Hey crafty friends, Laura here with a 12 by 12 that uses hardly any stash. I'm trying to think of something to call it. I haven't used any collections, it's mainly mixed media and cardstock really. So I'm starting off with 3 Page Evans cut files and a whole load of shimmers mists. I've got Granny Grey, Sapphire, Night Moves. I've got a couple of shimmers paints original, which is what this is. They're a much thicker consistency, and even though I'm letting them down a bit with water, when I flick it on, it kind of pushes the pigment in the mist away, I guess because it's thicker and heavier. So that's been good fun to play with and to discover. This is Snow something or other, which is the clear shimmery spray, which I've added on to lighten things up a bit. Drying them off a little bit, not all the way, and then I'm going to add a bit of splatter, a bit more paint, bit of whatever goes. I'm just having fun here. I'm working on my waffle flower mixed media mat, which I find is a really good surface for this sort of thing, and I'm a little bit gutted because I used some purple ink on it and it stained it pink. I mean, if it had stained it any other colour it would be fine, but it's pink. So yeah, there's my little moan. Drying them off a bit more and then setting them aside, and I can't bear waste, so I'm spraying the leftover ink with water. I'm going to push in a doily to colour that up first, and then I've got a length of lace from Crafty Ribbons and a vintage page at the back of a notebook. It's got measuring charts and conversions from old school to new school, which is really fun. I'm colouring that up as well, and then that'll be my layer. Now this here looks stained, it's not, it's just because I haven't cleaned it yet. Now my white 12 by 12 was very, very white, so I added quite a lot of dark black ink in a splodgy fashion. No rhyme or reason, didn't really know what size I needed, but it was good fun to just splurge some ink on it. I'm going to add a bit of colour. This is the offending ink. These are Pink Fresh mini ink cubes and I love them. The colours are so lovely and they stamp really well, despite me stamping that 4 or 5 times. That's because I'm stamping it over black. They're brilliant inks. I'm so glad that I saved up and got them, and I'm so glad that because I waited a long time I treated myself to an extra 2 sets of colours. I'm good for inks now. I'm done. I'm not buying any more. I'm not buying any more. I have used Stargazer and Regal Kiss, I think they're called. So a bit of purple and a bit of violet kind of colour. Trimming up my photo to make it properly square was a bit off, and then I'm just going to chop this down and layer it behind. Again, no rhyme or reason. I like messy layers. I figured I was going to be covering up quite a lot of that middle. I'll cut that out and use that as a layer as well. I did make sure that none of the words that were sticking out were bizarre. At one point it had height, and it was just it drew your eye to it. It really drew your eye to it, and I couldn't unsee it, so I swapped a layer around, stapling them together to keep it all nice and neat, and popping the photo on top with some foam. I say foam dots, they're not dots, they're squares. Popping the photo on top with some foam squares for dimension. Right, I am now looking at my background and thinking, how is it going to work? So I decided to chop it up. I'm cutting about 4 inches and then about 1 inch off of that and I'm going to layer them onto a piece of grid paper. It's the only thin paper that's 12 by 12 that I've got. Came in my Misty. So just adding some glue to that, and I'm going to piece them back together in the wrong order, as it were, and add a whole load of stitching to keep it all in place and cover the seams, cover the joins. Although this was not my original intention, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out, having the sort of explosion of mixed media coming in from the edge. I'm going to use this stripe down the middle as the home for my feathers. I've cut them again on vellum, so this is 3 layers of feather, 2 vellum and then the coloured ones. And because I used my heat gun and I used a lot of liquid on the cardstock feathers, they have curled up, which is wonderful. They've got a lovely natural curl like a feather would have. I'm adding the date down the bottom, a few enamel dots around the page. I'm tending to do 3s because that's what I always do. These are random dots. I think some are Cocoa Vanilla, some are Simple Stories, I think. I'm not entirely sure. These hearts are definitely Cocoa Vanilla, and I'm going to add a little row of 3 hearts onto the photo. I'm also going to pull out some Pink Fresh Puffy Alphas and add her name. This is my cousin, by the way. She's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, so I'm going to pick the same purpley colours matching with the mixed media. And then that's pretty much it. I'm calling it done. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!